Hello, my name is Joseph Pirayou. I want to welcome you to today's program. In the beginning, Ashur. As always, this is the live program, and if you have any comments, any questions, if you can, I can answer them during the program. I will do it. If not, either on the website or future programs, we do Q&As. Before I start with our today's program, a few things. As I mentioned in the previous programs, that if you have anything that you want to share, you want to come on the program, we talk about uh, your ideas, what we can do, not just ideas, how to implement. Uh, During this last weekend, I had a few interesting things. First, I know I'm not wearing my ring on program, but I'm happily married. I don't know if it was a joke or not, but somebody gave me a marriage proposal or date or something. So I'm sure it was a joke, but no, I'm happily married. Thank you very much. But if you have any ideas that we can use to strengthen our people, reuniting, and everything that we can go towards that goal, I really appreciate that. Second thing is that I had a couple other messages that you're telling me what to do. That's great. However, it's good to say what to do to other people, but what are you willing to do? What are you doing? It's easy to tell other people, you should do this, do that. Okay, great idea. But we want to bring it here as an individual, you being part of it. If we can do that, that would be great. If you have any ideas, you send it, it's just an idea. But action comes after the idea. And the third and last is that another thing was I was receiving FaceTime last Saturday, Sunday. Specifically, there was this gentleman, he FaceTimed me 3 times. And I was at work, I apologize I didn't answer. But honestly, if you want to FaceTime or WhatsApp or Zoom or whatever you want to do, send me a text. We make time so we can go sit down, do that FaceTime thing, get to know each other. If you have any ideas, anything, even if you want to cuss me out, that's fine. But let's make that time instead of just automatically uh, just sending me in FaceTime, especially when I'm driving. And I didn't mean not to answer you, but I couldn't at that time. So if you want to set up something, send me a text on Messenger, and we will make it, and we can go on from there. Anyway, so uh, back to the original programming. A couple of weeks back, most of you that, especially those of you who are watching this program, you know that Dr. shared a video of Patriarch Sako that he had his speech in Paris, France. And there was a short part of that, what they call that speech, was like few minutes. And Sarcelles, I believe that's the suburb of Paris. That's where the Church of St. Thomas is. And Dr. Ephraim Yildiz is from Salamanca, Spain, that he shared that video with us. And in the beginning, you get frustrated. Maybe you get too emotional. When I did the program, and another thing that I forgot to mention is that those of you who have seen the last 2 programs, it was done live in another location, and towards the end, it seems like our connection wasn't good. So my apologies. It wasn't my part. It wasn't on the part of Assyria TV. So the last program that just you get excited, the keys of the kingdom of heaven, what just came to my mind, because these people like Patriarch Sako, they are patriarchs. They are the father, holy father of Chaldeans denomination, church, whatever you want to call that. And after thinking about, what I said last week, I said, let's calm down. Let's just go through this like logically, with information that is out there, reasonable, intelligent approach of what is going on from that side, like these patriarchs from these denominations that we have. And we start from the beginning. And what do I mean by that? Well, the title of the program, I put it as Responsibilities of the Key Holder. And everything goes back to the Bible. Now, I have an example here. This November, we have an election in the United States. They call it general election. They will choose president, vice president, senators, congress people, different position locally, you know, United States, whatever different states they have. Now, one thing is, this country was established on what we call here the Constitution of the United States. So this is what was established back in, they say 1776, but there was different dates, but this is the birthday of United States. So, and this is part of that Constitution, and that's how it starts, we the people. And from there it goes and, talks about how the nation was established. Why am I bringing this up is that during this election in November, after the election is made, let's say the office of president, then in January that follows up, like this current president that we have, President Biden, we have a photo of his inauguration. So what happens, you see him, he's holding up his hand, his wife, she's holding the Bible, and all the way to the right, you see the back of his head with the right hand rising is the Chief Justice of Supreme Court. I think his name is Robert or Roberts. Sorry, I'm not very familiar with most of these people. But that's what happened in January 2021. When he took the office, he put his left hand on the Bible and right hand up, as you can see, and took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. That's his responsibility. And not to see that I'm trying to be on the Democrat side, on the Republican side. 4 years prior to that, former President Trump. Same thing. We have a photo of that too. You see, interesting, they're wearing blue, the wives. Anyway, to the right, you see the back of the head. His right hand is risen, same Chief Justice. And President Trump put his left hand on the Bible, his right hand up, and he says, I take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. So we have the Constitution, and these people, President Biden now, President Trump before him, they took an oath to uphold the position, the Constitution of the United States. So why am I bringing this up? We have Patriarch Saka, head of the Chaldean Church. Now, there was some other before him. One thing that I was thinking, he has this position, and the position that he has comes from this book, Holy Bible. So I'm trying to intelligently or reasonably approach this. If the President Biden or Trump, they took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong, you can correct me, that these patriarchs are supposed to uphold anything related to this book, because that's where they get their power. That's why we did the program last week, Keys to the Kingdom of Heaven. And if you remember last week, maybe there are some parts that I might be repeating it, is that when the keys are given, Jesus Christ is talking to Peter alone, because Peter made a confession that he said, you are Jesus, Son of God, Savior. I don't have exact quotation. I had it from last week, but Jesus said, your name was Simon, but from now on you be called Peter, which means Keepa, rock. And on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I give you him, not the other guys. So we're looking at Peter. Since these people, when I say these people, the Chaldean Church, Assyrian Church of the East, the Syriac-Orthodoxe, Syriac Catholic, the Ancient Church, Maronites. I don't know if I missed any other one that is, we are all part of the same people, but different denominations. But all these people, they trace themselves back to Peter. Even, how can I put it? Pope sits on the throne of Peter. Peter is the key and the key holder. So if these people have the keys and they take their power from what Jesus said in this book, so it's logical that we go to this book to see if these people are upholding what they're supposed to be upholding. First thing that came to my mind, that these people, like Sako, these patriarchs, none of them is elected. They are selected by certain clergy underneath them, like Pope. When the Pope dies, there's that conclave. These cardinals, they gather together and they take vote, and that's how they choose a Pope. None of the Roman Catholic members of the Vatican Church has a say in who is going to become a Pope. Same with the patriarchs that we have, as I mentioned, all these 5, 6, 7 different denominations that claim to be apostolic and succeeding Peter. So let's give a look at this brother Peter. Does that make sense? If we want to see Patriarch Sako, because he's the patriarch, he's the Holy Father, he's speaking for Jesus Christ, and that was his speech, we should follow. He's got the key, brother. If you don't follow him, you're not going to go to heaven because he's got the key. That's their claim, right? So I was thinking, why don't we look at Peter, Simon Peter? And I mentioned a couple of things last program. And one of the things that I mentioned was that Peter never let people bow down to him. There's that story about Cornelius in Book of Acts. One other thing that I found out about, what's his name, Peter, in Book of Acts, there is an interesting story. I just put the small one verse from Acts chapter 8, I think verse 20. Sorry about that. There's this guy, Simon the magician, and he's hanging out with the apostles. They are in the city Samaria, and he can see, they're doing these, what they call that, miracles, healing people, leprosy, this and that. And then Peter comes there to give a speech, give people hope, they're turning and becoming Christian. And this Simon magician is looking at all these things. And then the Holy Spirit comes and the people change. And the guy is observing and tells Peter, listen, I give you money. So give me that power. And Peter took like, the English version doesn't give the full meaning. The original Greek that somebody was explaining to me, here it says, Peter said to him, your money perish with you because you have thought that the gift of God may be purchased with money. In that original language, Peter is a little bit more colorful. I think he has a little bit Ashuri in him. He says, the hell with you and your money. He had that temper. Remember when they arrested Jesus, he took the sword. And I mean, he's not a good swordsman. Instead of killing the guy, he cut his ear and Jesus healed him. He gets mad. Jesus tells him, I have to wash your feet, before the Last Supper. He said, no, you will not wash my feet. And Jesus tells him, if I don't wash your feet, you're not going to go to the kingdom of heaven. Then he says, give me a bath. Extreme. The character is an extreme person. You're looking at him. Remember, we're trying to see this holder of key that is mentioned in this gospel or in the New Testament and the current key holders, if they measure up to them. If they're doing what these people, the original key holder did. Is that an okay approach? I don't know. But that's the only thing that comes to my mind. Because they have the key. I got the key. I don't know if that's the right key or man-made key or whatever key it is. But I was looking at what's his name? Peter. That's the dispute that he has with Paul. And Paul writes in the, I think, letter to the Galatians that Peter was in the wrong. Because when Peter and Paul, they are in Antioch, they're sitting and eating with the non-Jews that became Christian. Then this group comes from Jerusalem, from James, the brother of Jesus. And when Peter sees them, he takes off and goes sits with the Jews that they were Christian. Because according to the Jewish law, a Jew shall not sit down and eat with a Gentile, non-Jew. But since they were all Christian before that group came from Jerusalem, Peter had no problem. But then this group came and he just took off, and Paul says, hey, wait a minute, you're in the wrong. Peter, the key holder, was in the wrong. And Jesus said, you will open here, will be open up there, close here. It's the character, it's the attitude. Now, last program, we went a little too far as far as time. And as I said, I apologize for not being able, the quality that we had was not great. Position of authority. Going back, as I said, to the key holder. Now, one thing, I don't know how many of you are familiar with. So Peter is the head, and all these different denominations. It's called apostolic succession, right? So there was one leader. One leader. How many leaders we have now? Something happened. See, if you are the key holder, if you're the head, and whatever you say is from God, from Creator, from Jesus Christ, everybody else has to follow. If you don't follow, you become what they called 500 years ago to Martin Luther. You become what? A Protestant. You're protesting. All these denominations that they were separated, now we have that denomination that separated, they call themselves Arameans or Syriacs. Another denomination that's separated is calling themselves Chaldeans, ethnically. This is what's happening with Sako, Patriarch Sako. The other groups, Assyrian Church of the East, Ancient Church, they say, we are the true. Well, I don't know about the Ancient Church, but the Assyrian Church of the East, I hear a lot of the members. We are true Assyrians. We are the true. Maybe you're Assyrian, but you're not Ashuri. As far as my thinking goes. Why? The position you like to have. But the responsibility, when you look at Peter, when I'm looking at what these things are doing, you know, there is a part that makes you sit down and think, okay, why we are where we are right now? Well, we are here because of some SOBs. Hey, Joseph, no cussing in the program, please. This is from the Bible. Can we look at that 1 Samuel? So people don't think I'm just throwing words up there. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 12. Now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial. This is original SOB. They knew not the Lord. Now, okay, the sons of Eli, sons of Belial, SOB, they didn't know the Lord. Eli was from the tribe of Levi, the 12 tribes of Israel. One of the brothers was Levi, and when they came to the promised land, or during the trip, whatever it was, that tribe was chosen to only what? Work for God. They were the religious part of the 12 tribes. That's why they were not given any land. That's why they were not part of any army. But they were responsible for the faith of the people. And this guy, Eli, which is the story later we find out about the birth of Samuel, the prophet, King Saul, King David, everything. But these sons of Eli are called SOBs, and they knew not the Lord. You are from that tribe of Levi, apostolic succession. Levi was the first, leader. Then Moses was from that tribe. Eli is from that tribe. And they did not know the Lord. Apostolic succession from Peter. We have a whole bunch of these sons of Belial. And we have the source to go to find out how much full of it they are and how much they are like Apostle Peter. Now, we hear Apostle Peter, but originally there is another word, it's called disciple. Jesus had 12 disciples that they were very close. There were a lot of people around him, but he had 12 disciples. Disciple means that they had a teacher. Somebody was giving him a discipline, teaching. And these 12 disciples were sent at certain time during Jesus' ministry to do certain things, heal people, preach the kingdom of heaven. So when one is sent out, becomes an apostle. When we read Paul's letter, he says, Paul, an apostle sent by Jesus Christ. So the word apostle means that one who is sent. Disciple are those specific 12 people that were students of Jesus. Why am I bringing this up? Those 12 disciples, we know the head, as is mentioned in the New Testament, was Peter. But the last one that always is mentioned is who? Judas. He was a disciple and he was an apostle. He lived 3.5 years with Jesus Christ. And guess what? This apostle, this disciple, sold Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, I believe. Now, the last night of Jesus, before he was crucified, 2 of his disciples messed up. Peter denied Jesus. Judas betrayed Jesus. Judas, what did he do after he betrayed Jesus? Let's see that photo. I tried to find some of these on Google is pretty good, but can you show it by itself? That's artist's rendition. Oh, it's too small. Okay. So I'm sure you can see the guy is hanging, his neck is broken, right? He committed suicide. But before committing suicide, he went to these priests, the Jewish priests, and threw the money at them, and then he goes and kills himself. It's like he confessing to the priest, then you kill yourself. So what was the point of confessing? Remember, disciple, apostle, betrayed Jesus, one of the 12. The things he has seen, none of us can think of that Jesus did. Yet, his mind, his heart was in the wrong place. Money, money, money. He had the bag. But that's not the problem. The thing was, when he realized what he had done, he killed himself. Now, same night, Peter denies Jesus, the key holder. What did he do? After he betrayed Jesus, after he said, no, I don't know this guy, and he cusses. When you look at read in the New Testament, Peter cusses like bleep, 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 bleep. I don't know Jesus. I don't know, don't. Then when the rooster crows or whatever it does, he realized, remember the words of Jesus. He said, you will betray me before the rooster crows. And he cried bitterly. He realized his mistake. He realized his weakness. Keyholder, realizing who he is, what he did. And guess what happened? The day of Pentecost, the first sermon is done by this Peter. This is the position that these patriarchs that we have down here, are you representing him? He healed people. From the stories we go, when their shadow passed by sick people, they got healed. When was the last time any of you guys did anything like that? Don't blame me. It's here. I'm just going by the Constitution. This is the Constitution you get your power from. I'm going to that source to see if you are doing what you're supposed to do. I'm not judging you. I just want to know. You know how we can trick people? Are we being tricked? Now, as I said, these SOBs, sons of Belial, they think they have power. They think they're sitting on the throne of Peter. I'm sure most of you know what happened to Peter. We found another photo. I think there were so many different photos, but I think that exemplifies the character of the key holder. He said, I'm not worthy to be crucified like my Lord. That's what we have from tradition when he went to Rome. He said, crucify me upside down. I don't deserve. So, any of your patriarchs resembling Peter? I don't mean to be funny. See, one thing is that, how do I know this? Some years back, I was challenged about my faith, about, some years back, like some 35, 40 years ago. And I realized I have to learn about my faith. And during that learning process, another thing I learned is I don't trust, not all of them, but majority of these church leaders, regardless of it being apostolic, through Peter's succession, or Protestant. There's money involved, there is power involved, there is position involved, there is position involved. And this is my constitution. And based on this constitution, I'm free of any of these. I don't know about you. See, last week I thanked Dr. Ephraim for sharing that video and the letter that he had sent. And there are a couple of things here. First, this is the second letter that Dr. Ephraim is sending to Patriarch. And I don't know what the outcome has been, but looks like he doesn't care what Dr. Ephraim is saying. But I do. I want to thank Dr. Ephraim for sharing that with us. But at the same time, believe it or not, I want to thank Patriarch Sako for saying what he did. Because by what he said, then what Dr. Ephraim shared, we were like, hey, wait a minute. The response that was out there, if we were not exposed to that, we just, okay, yeah, I'll go to church, what we do, get the communion, this and that. Exposure. Patriarch Sako, by doing what he did, it's like waking us up. Are we waking up? Are we, when I was in sales, there was this term that was telling us, as salespeople, the term is ham and eggs. You have to remember ham and eggs. I was like, what do you mean ham? I love ham and eggs, but what do you mean in sales terms? He says ham and eggs, when you look at the egg, the chicken is involved. What it does, pop, pop, throws an egg, you make the ham and egg. But the ham part of the ham and egg, the pig is committed. Now, I'm not saying I should be like suicidal to give my life, like, the pig that is committed, but how committed are we in what to do to not let these people fool our people, separate our people, divide our people, and let the enemy have upper hand and they win all the time? I want to win for a change. Don't you? Now, here's the plan. I don't have a plan. The only thing that comes to my mind is our identity is under attack. The plan comes from all of us, thinking, planning, and acting together. These are the opportunities that these people giving us. Patriarch Saka gave us an opportunity. A couple of weeks ago, everybody was hot. Yeah, he said this, slowly. And then they're going to go do whatever they want to do. The other patriarchs, the other things, the politicians, whatever, keep us divided. This is Project Ashur. Dr. Ephraim is part of it. We are not all united to work together, but we will get there. This exposure, communication, as I said in the beginning, if you want to do it, come on the program, send me a text, we talk, We make the arrangement, go to Zoom, boom, sit down, get involved, bring it in, get inside the arena. Sitting outside, you see it, nothing's going to change. Come inside. And until then, as always, the end of the program, the Unity Dance, Sheikhani, thanks for watching. Thanks for sending messages. Not available. Thank you very much. ما بقينا. Pirayou Ashur. Thank you.
Sheikhani.